Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. We are excited to bring you this webinar called Building a Unicorn. My name is Melissa Anderson, and I'm the Sales Operations and Marketing Manager for Quality Built. Before we begin, I'd like to draw your attention to the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. Please submit any questions that you may have here. We've reserved some time at the end of the webinar to answer your questions. Without any further delay, I'd like to introduce you to today's host. We have with us Mr. Bill Bridgman, the Chief Revenue Officer for Quality Built. Bill?
Thank you, Melissa. The construction industry in the U.S. creates over $1.3 trillion worth of structures every year and employs over 7 million people. Today, we're going to talk about the integration of technology and data into one of the largest and least technology-enabled industries in the country. Construction is a tremendously complex industry, and the number of regulations and variables that impact success keep growing daily. Diverse scenarios and environments demand that these requirements be addressed in different ways. But at the end of the day, commercial success has always come down to these three pillars: cost, quality, and schedule. In the past, since quality is often unseen or sometimes even unknown until there are component or system failures, timelines and budget have often been prioritized, and building in quality has been a nice to have, but less important at the end of the project. Unfortunately, this has proven over and over again to be short-sighted, and the results have ended up in the courts or costing significant amounts of money via some, often undisclosed, settlement mechanism or agreement. Today, we'll show you how using data and technology-enabled quality assurance helps not only achieve all three, but reduces risk, minimizes rework, and improves genuine ROI for all the parties involved. To understand how we arrived here, it's helpful for you to know a little bit about us. Founded in 1994, we are the nation's largest and oldest third-party quality assurance company for single-family residential, multifamily residential, commercial construction, and energy and sustainability. Our inspectors, located coast to coast, have many of the highest levels of professional certification possible and deep actual field construction experience in the industry. In 2005, Quality Built created the defining construction risk management system that is now the standard for over 30 construction insurance companies. In 2019, Gallant Capital Partners invested to fuel our continued geographic and service line growth. Today, the Quality Built team has inspected over 1 million structures of nearly every shape, size, and purpose in every part of the country. And we've used that data to provide powerful litigation support to some of the most recognized firms in all phases of construction. We've carefully analyzed each of these 1 million structures and accumulated literally millions and millions of data points over 25 years. Today, it's no boast to say that no firm in the world knows as much about construction quality best practices and methods in the US than Quality Built. Lenders, developers, construction companies, insurance companies, and legal firms throughout the nation use and depend on Quality Built data. Having wide swaths of great data isn't enough. You need humans. You need analytics and historical perspective to make sense of it all, to see what it's telling you, and then to understand how to apply what you're seeing. The right people is always the factor that makes the most difference. You can't do this critical work sitting behind a desk. Our process is comprehensive and begins at the beginning with a technical review of the plans to improve constructability and avoid unforeseen system or component conflicts, followed by on-site inspections performed by the Quality Build team or your team using Quality Build's proprietary software. The data is then carefully analyzed and reported to all the appropriate and approved stakeholders, facilitating transparency and collaborative problem solving. Training and support are always provided at all levels and throughout the process, but especially when challenges are discovered. One key result of all of this work, coupled with our extensive historical data, is predictive risk management that benefits everyone. Traditionally, in construction, quality is not integrated into our existing platforms. We have, in most cases, a disparate and paper-driven process that is the default, resulting in a lot of headaches. You have lots of callbacks, more insurance claims, schedule delays, job site injuries, just to name a few. How much are all these outdated approaches actually costing companies every year? And how are companies mitigating these real risks? Are the industry's 20th century workarounds even working 20 years into the 21st century? Or are they making the problems worse? The key is to integrate the entire value chain, and we have 4 principles that we recommend. Unicorn principle number 1, predict failures before they happen. There's no better time to review the places and ways that a structure may be compromised than at specific points when the project is being constructed. It's simply the right time and often the only time you can look closely at the interaction of different key components, such as the envelope materials and windows, insulation, final roofing materials and underlayment, and most especially where these different materials and strategies interface with one another. Further, the integration of major systems such as HVAC, electrical, low voltage wiring, and plumbing are only observable at this phase. Principle number 2, integrate the trades into the quality assurance process. Tradespeople and labor of all types are the real constructors, and integrating them into the quality assurance process not only creates greater transparency in the value creation chain, but trains everyone to work together more effectively, reduces conflict between the trades, and provides clear accountability. Importantly, it also shows the tradespeople that you care about them and their contributions and consider them an important part of your project, thus creating some loyalty in these days of scarce trade resources. Principle number 3, score quality assurance participants and incentivize the right behaviors. The pace of construction has never been more demanding than it is today. And this means you're working with firms and individuals you may not know well or have even worked with in the past. So as you're drawn in a million different directions, how do you know who is serving you well and who needs some training, coaching, or even replacing? The well-known adage that you get what you measure has never been more true than it is right now. The key is obviously to have an unbiased and clear tool to score each trade and compare the outcomes against a standard, not just quantitatively, but qualitatively as well. For instance, an electrical trade that installs 10 J-boxes crooked is not making as serious a mistake as the electrical trade that fails to properly ground a single circuit. In the first case of 10 lower scores, final aesthetics are impacted but can be remedied easily. In the second case of 1 lower score, someone could get killed and that impact will last forever. Principle number 4, use software and technology to keep records and connect everyone to the process. Transparency and record keeping are the keys, and software is the unifying factor for everyone involved. Importantly, the software should operate on any device's operating system, so it's easy and convenient for everyone. You need regular reports that are expertly populated with valid, reliable, and actionable data. The data should be collected in the exact same manner and using the exact same methods every single time, whether it's collected by your team or a third party. The systems and processes used should be guided by an independent standards organization, such as the ISO or International Standards Organization. In summary, number 1, having the tools and information to predict failures before they happen gives you the ability to be proactive instead of always being reactive. Number 2, training and integrating key trades in your quality assurance program produces transparency, creates accountability, and improves the working relationships on your job site. Number 3, scoring and incentivizing the stakeholders in your program drives the behaviors that you want and supports your goals. And finally, using a simple software tool that operates on any device to keep records and provide transparency to all your quality assurance stakeholders assures alignment with positive outcomes with everyone. So what have we seen over 25 years as we connected the dots at millions of structures? Typical results of this health check for the construction process and the implementation of a comprehensive, data-driven, and unifying quality assurance process are a 75% reduction in anomalies, our term for mistakes, within 90 days. Subcontractor and product selection and performance that's optimized for the product and the project, and millions of dollars saved in site rework, callbacks, owner complaints, warranty claims, and legal issues. It's been a pleasure sharing with you the 4 key principles we've learned over the years that are the foundation of effective, efficient, and data-driven quality assurance programs throughout the country. And I'd be happy to address any questions now.
Thank you, Bill. We do have a couple questions here. The first one is from Jonathan. He asks, how do you quantify the savings of not having to do rework?
Jonathan, the easiest and fastest way is to monitor your warranty claims by owners and occupants for the first year. You should see that number drop. Second, add to that the reduction in cost and charges by the trades for callbacks during your construction cycle. Finally, as we've found, the rate of anomalies or mistakes falls drastically during the first 90 days. If you take this reduction in occurrence multiplied by your cost to correct these issues previously, you should be able to arrive at a pretty reasonable estimate of your savings within 90 days. I hope that answers your question, Jonathan.
Thank you, Bill. The next question we have is from Leanne. She asks, we are talking to other third-party QA companies. What should we be looking for when deciding who to work with?
Leanne, that's a great question. Very intuitive. We recommend reviewing a number of decision points, but the 3 we see that cause the most issues if they're ignored are these. First, How long has the company been providing the specific quality assurance inspection you need? Obviously, the longer the better. Second, what are the specific qualifications of the inspector who will serve you at your job site? Here, I recommend looking for some type of third-party verification of the competency, such as a credential from the International Code Council. Essentially, some random experiences or a long time working in the construction industry are simply not enough. Third, is there a distinct and well-documented methodology, ideally driven by a sophisticated software, that assures that all the inspections being performed for you are being performed in the same way, and that the data integrity and validity is maintained over all your inspections and ideally over all your projects? This allows some valid trending and creates valuable reports upon which you can make better business decisions, Leanne.
Thank you, Bill. We have one last question here from Marcus. He asks, with millions of data points collected over the years, how does this minimize risk for others?
Marcus, there's no need to reinvent the wheel every time you want to go somewhere in your car, right? So similarly, a true professional can take what has been learned over thousands of past inspections to help you avoid the foreseeable mistakes today and in the future. So in this way, what's been happening and what's been recorded and recognized and documented in the past benefits you today and can benefit you and your organization far into the future.
Great. Thank you, Bill. Well, that wraps us up for today. We sure appreciate you spending some time with us as we went over the webinar called Building a Unicorn. We look forward to seeing you at our next webinar, and this will be posted on our website shortly. Thank you and have a great day.